I'm financial coach Sparkle, but you may know me as musical artist Karma Soleil. Welcome to Financially Sparkling, where I teach you to fire in your finances and to sparkle in your life. Get your notebooks and let's get into today's topic. All right, everyone, so today's topic is called Taxes Demystified. How TurboTax can make filing taxes easy. So there are two certain things in life we all have to deal with: death and taxes. Nobody enjoys having to file or pay for their taxes. And if you can't understand how to do your taxes, there are affordable ways to do it so that you don't end up on Uncle Sam's naughty list. So as you may know, I have traveled and lived in many different countries, and I've had to figure out all of this on my own. Unfortunately, the U.S. education system isn't built to teach us how to deal with reality yet, and the different scenarios that we'll encounter in this real world. So today I will talk about some tips and tricks that I've used to keep my tax fees free or minimal, quick and easy. So TurboTax. Now before I begin, I want to remind you all that I am not a tax advisor, tax consultant, or any kind of tax professional. I'm just an average person that has to file my taxes just like you do, and I've learned how to do it for my own situation. So seek professional tax advice if you need more information and assistance. Luckily, TurboTax has tax advisors ready to help you. So I've been using TurboTax for years. The reason is because it has been free and easy for me to file my taxes online. When I first started my working career in my early 20s, it was free to file and submit. You can still file freely with the free edition if you have a simple tax situation. For example, a W-2, a 1099 INT, a 1099 DIV, etc. For more detailed and complex tax situations, you will need to pay a small fee. For example, home ownership, children independence, business ownership, investments, etc. Now I have to use the paid version because I need to file and report my foreign earned income, Form 2555. I also need to file the F-bar as well because I have foreign bank accounts in the countries I've lived in. You always need to file your taxes while living abroad. You may not owe taxes in USA, but there still needs to be a paper trail of your income that the US government has. It sucks. I know. You have to do it if you want to avoid any kind of audits. When I first started living abroad, it only cost me $45 to file from abroad using TurboTax. The fees were lower back then. After I printed out the form and sent my taxes to the IRS, I learned what I needed to write and print in there for the next year. So the following year, I did my taxes by myself without TurboTax. I printed a new form and filled in the same information in the same spaces and filed my taxes via snail mail, meaning I put it all in a letter and mailed it to them. It cost me $4. So when your financial situation does not change, it's really cheap to file your taxes yourself. I really like TurboTax because they've added more tax situations to their categories to make it as easy as point and click and the information is completed for you. They also offer free assistance as you go through the steps, which I definitely used when I first started. Applying and submitting and filing your taxes in a foreign country is not so clear-cut and simple, so I definitely used help. There are other tax software options that other people have used that's similar to the TurboTax. Some people have used H&R Block. I don't have experience with them, but I've heard very good reviews. You can always, of course, file freely on the IRS website as well. Let's not forget that the government has a free tax filing system on their website. Website. I'm so excited talking about taxes. Why? I don't know. Okay. So let's move on. Let's talk about foreign. So if you're a traveler like I am, you might want to know what your options are. Now, unfortunately, I only have experience in 2 countries filing taxes, so that's all I'm going to talk about. But once I live in other countries, I will be updating my website with those countries that I've lived in and the tax help that I've received with their information to help you out. So when I lived in Germany, I used Wundertax to file my taxes when I was working with a company. Wundertax was the equivalent of TurboTax in my opinion, and it was in English. However, Wundertax didn't have all of the necessary services to help freelancers. Now this may change in the future though. So if you are a freelancer or self-employed, you will have to file on the website Elster to the German IRS. It's all in German, but it's free. When I filed my freelance tax return with Wundertax, they gave me my tax return, and I took my tax return information and just clicked through the information on the Elster website. It took about 2 hours for me to input all of the information, but it became easier and I got the hang of it. I mean, doing taxes in German is just overwhelming in general, so if doing taxes in German for you is overwhelming, please get a friend to help. This stuff is not easy. I was alone and I did it by myself. Thankfully, my German was decent enough to get through it. Now, in South Korea, I was exempt for 2 years and I didn't need to worry about taxes in South Korea until my 3rd year living there. It's a system they have in place for English teachers that work with the Korean government. So USA and South Korea have a tax agreement that allowed this. It's the tax residency certificate. Once I exceeded my 2 years, I wasn't actually told how to file my taxes. My job actually set up my taxes, and when I started working there, and then they gave me this form. I just received a letter in the mail, and it told me how much I owed, where, and how I could pay it. And it was simple to make the payments. It wasn't a lot. It was about $200 for the entire year. Honestly, it was the easiest tax experience I've ever had. But like I mentioned before, I'm currently doing some research on taxes for expats to help with doing taxes in Western European countries like Spain, Portugal, Italy, France. But I will share more information once I've actually figured it all out myself to help you guys navigate this crazy tax world. So that's it for today. You can find all of this information on my blog. The link is in the description below. As always, everything is free except my time. I do offer one-on-one consultations at a very low cost, meaning if you need some help with your finances, you can always book a session with me through Fiverr. See you next time and stay sparkling.